Let's don't wishy-washy about it. Is the NFL scripted or is it not?
Man, I think they got billions of reasons to have an interest in who's there.
Is the NFL scripted? And I'm going to yell it a little louder because I don't think you heard me. Is the NFL scripted or is it not?
Absolutely. There you go.
Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, so you're a flat earther, NFL scripted.
No,
We're going all the way that way.
I'm not getting into all the other conspiracies, but sometimes when you start.
Let's don't wishy-washy about it. Is the NFL scripted or is it not?
Man, I think they got billions of reasons to have an interest in who's there.
Is the NFL scripted? And I'm going to yell it a little louder because I don't think you heard me. Is the NFL scripted or is it not?
Absolutely. There you go.
Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, so you're a flat earther, NFL scripted. We're going all the way that way.
All the other conspiracies, but sometimes when you start labeling yourself sports entertainment and there's billions of dollars on the line, I don't believe there's not some people, blowing some wind in the sail to make the boat move, if that makes sense.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What's going on, people? What is happening? This is your man, Brien Hanley, and welcome back to the Big B Daily Show. We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. What is going on? Man, that was a good Super Bowl last night. Great football game. It was just a great football game overall. Chiefs ended up pulling it out in overtime, literally at the end of overtime. So we are going to get into all of that again, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. On TikTok, as always, man, just keep tapping the screen. We're looking for 5,000 likes and at least 30 new follows, and we need as many people subscribed over on YouTube as possible today. We appreciate it. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So, the Chiefs. First off, let's just talk about on why I have to have this shirt on today. Okay? My wife is a diehard Chiefs fan, and I said if they won, I would do a show with the Chiefs shirt on. So I've been married 20 years. You don't disappoint your wife. When she asks you something, at some point you just relent and just say, hey, the cliche, happy wife, happy life, that can be overplayed sometimes, but it is what it is, people. It is what it is. You can put on a shirt to make her happy. That's what you do. That's what you do. But the Chiefs played an outstanding football game. I just thought the game was great. I thought the first half was slow, but overall, I thought the football game was a great football game in general. I thought it was a great football game. And that's the thing I know it's going to get missed in all the hoopla and all of everybody's, passion to just constantly talk about, oh, it was the greatest football game of all time. Let's not get carried away with ourselves. We don't always have to be a prisoner of the moment, but it was a great football game. There was no choking. I know people are going to want to say that the 49ers choked. There was no choking that happened. It was two good teams playing football, and the Chiefs won. The Chiefs won. Like I said, the first half, it was slow, low scoring. Defenses were playing well. The Chiefs defense was bending, but then it bowed its back. 49ers defense played very well in the first half. Very well. But as things change and you get settled into the game a little bit more, the Chiefs figured out some ways to attack them. The 49ers, the only issue that I got with the 49ers is that the basically from the middle of the first quarter till almost the fourth quarter, they stopped running the football. They got away from it. It's the same damn thing that the Ravens did. They got away from running the football. And once the 49ers went back to it, they were able to move the football. So it's just crazy. The blocked extra point meant a lot. It meant a lot. And I don't even know if it was blocked. That was just a horrible kick. Hell, he damn near hit the blocker in the back, the lineman in the back of the head. I mean, that wasn't like a great defensive play. That was just a horrible kick. My goodness. So, some people are saying he slipped. If he did, fine. I didn't see him slip. I just saw him hit a bad ball. But either way, Chiefs come out on top, 25 to 22. Great football game. It just was. What did you guys see? Oh, here we go with Dylan talking about it's all scripted. It's all scripted. Yes, like Dre Greenlaw, him running out onto the football field and blowing his Achilles out, that was scripted. I mean, Jiminy Christmas. That was crazy how that happened. I don't think I've ever seen that. Matter of fact, I know I haven't. I've never seen a guy running out onto the football field after a punt that blows his Achilles out. Never seen that a day in my life. Jiminy Christmas. Never seen that a day in my life. Dylan, the outcome was scripted. So you're a millionaire today, right, Dylan? You sold your house. You cashed in your 401k. Every dollar that you have, you bet on the Chiefs because the ending was scripted. So you're a millionaire today. If you're not, please shut up and remove yourself from the conversation. But if you are, good for you. Good for you. So, and we're not even going to attempt to talk about idiots anymore, people. We're not going to entertain any of the people. We're just not going to do that. We're not going to do that. People are mad because they lost bets, so now it's scripted. That's basically what it all comes down to. When anybody says that any game, oh, it's all scripted. Hey, you bet on the wrong team. You bet on the wrong team. Stop betting if you don't like the outcome. If you can't live with the outcomes, and bet on the right team. Period. You bet on the wrong team. You lost, and now you're upset about it. Sorry. Either way, it's ridiculous. Either way, the football game was great. I just thought the football game was outstanding. I thought the football game was, Patrick Mahomes was outstanding again in the second half of that football game. We'll talk about what this does for his legacy and Andy Reid's. Travis Kelce. Let's talk about a little bit about Travis Kelce. Got a slow start. I did not like Travis Kelce. Now, look, it's the heat of the passion of the game. He's into it. But pushing your head coach, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. It's crazy. So you can't be pushing your head coach. I don't want to compare him to anybody else. All I want to compare is Travis Kelce, what he did. He was mad because he wasn't on the field blocking when Pacheco fumbled. I'm like, Kelce, you're not a good blocker. You aren't going to do anything better anyway. That part was ridiculous. But it was a great, great football game. Like I said, I thought the stars were stars. The offensive stars were stars. You can't say that Brock Purdy gave this game away either. Brock Purdy did his job. Brock Purdy played phenomenal. He kept making plays. He kept making plays. I know we want to say that, at the end of the game, it could have been a touchdown. I'm like, you got Chris Jones running free right in your face. What are you supposed to do? The offensive line blew the assignment. There's no offensive pass protection that says this 3 technique, who happens to be Chris Jones, we're not blocking him. We're going to let him run free. There's no pass protection that says that. Brock Purdy played an outstanding game. Outstanding. Everybody has a couple of throws that, they want back. Mahomes did too. Mahomes threw an interception. The only pass that could have been intercepted by Purdy was literally in his wide receiver's hands. Both hands. And he just didn't catch it and tip the ball up. Yeah, Purdy played good. Purdy played good. So, my man Pat Cockrell, this is a great point. A great point talking about choosing to take the ball first in overtime cost the Niners, in my opinion, absolutely 1,000%. Once they've changed the rules, you have to take the ball second. I don't care what. For the simple fact of the matter, and they said it last night, and I've been saying this forever. Once they change the rules, you have to take the ball second because you get an extra down. They said it on the telecast last night. Nance and Romo, by the way, it was just absolutely ridiculous. Couldn't stand listening to him. And that's weird for me because I usually like Romo, but he was, oh my gosh. Y'all, again, for the young people out there, Tony Romo was out there just glazing. Oh my God, it got on my nerves. But yeah, you got to take the ball second in overtime once they've made that change to the rule. You get an extra down. There's no way that you don't take the ball second. And they did. And because if they have the ball second, I think they run the ball on third down, get closer and go for it on fourth down. You saw the Chiefs take advantage of that. They did just that. On 3rd and 1, they ran it, they got stopped, and then they had a fourth down. But if you have the ball first, you can't do that. If you have the ball first, you have to either punt or you got to try kicking field goals. But you don't have that extra down. That was a huge mistake. That was a huge mistake. But Kyle Shanahan, look, I'm not going to say that Kyle Shanahan choked. I'm not going to say that he choked. But at some point, you all know me, I am hard on quarterbacks and players in general. Do enough to win the game. You're in position to go win the game. You have to do enough. At what point do we say, look, Kyle Shanahan, you got to do enough to go win a football game? And I think that's what he's just got to do, and he didn't do that. He didn't do that. Didn't do enough to go win. Didn't do enough to go win. Got away from his game plan of running the football. Like I said, basically from the middle of the first quarter till the fourth quarter, they didn't run the ball enough. They did not run it enough, and that is where they got in trouble. So, and I don't know about enough Purdy running. I don't know if you needed to do that because we saw Purdy get outside the pocket a few times. He couldn't outrun those guys. So it wasn't Purdy running, it was McCaffrey running. They just didn't do it. Didn't do enough. Didn't do enough. So hopefully he learns his lesson because I think the 49ers can be back. I mean, they're not paying any quarterbacks. But yeah, the Chiefs won the game. Give the Chiefs credit. Give them all the credit in the world, people. Give them the credit. They won the football game. Let's move on. And we're talking about the 49ers. Before we do, again, as always, man, we just crushed the likes. We're already past that. So let's get to 10,000 likes on TikTok. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time. We are always live here on TikTok, live on YouTube, TikTok. If you're not following, please give us a follow. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. So we got to get some people out on TikTok. We're just not going to deal with idiots over here today. So we're just not going to do that. But moving on to the 49ers. I think they can be back. I think the 49ers can be back. But man, this is a missed opportunity. Look, nobody thought that Greenlaw was going to blow his Achilles out running onto the football field. Nobody thought that. I mean, gee, many Christmas. How the hell something like that happened? I've never seen that happen. Just running out onto the field, blows his Achilles out. Gee, many Christmas. And somebody over here saying next man up. Well, yeah, that's fine. But the next man isn't as good as the first man. That's why he's the next man. So that's the whole part of it. That is the difference. Man blows out his Achilles running onto the football field. Unbelievable. But yeah, they can get back. I mean, Brock Purdy's still not making no money. Well, I say no money. No money in NFL standards. They can pay some other people. I think they got to rebuild that offensive line a little bit. They got to get better secondary help. But man, did the 49ers, they had an opportunity here, people. They had a great opportunity, and they just didn't. They just didn't do it. So, no, there wasn't. That's a good point. Somebody said there weren't many holding calls last night. No, there was a few. There was a couple obvious ones that didn't get called. But for the most part, with this officials crew, they were charged with calling the most penalties in the league. They kind of let them play last night a little bit, which was refreshing. Especially, like I said, from a crew that calls the most penalties per game. So they let them play. Somebody saying Deebo's not that guy. Look, if you're expecting Deebo Samuel to go out there and be the best wide receiver on the football field, you're asking way too much because that's not what he does. That's not him. He's a great football player. You just get the ball in space, get the ball to him. That's what he does. But as far as just him just going out and running, just blowing people away with his route running, that's not what he does. So they had a few mistakes. They did. McCaffrey fumbling on the first drive, the punt. You know, it's like everybody says, oh, it's scripted. Yes, they punted the ball 53 yards down the field so the ball would hit on a guy running at full speed. It would hit the back of his foot. They scripted that perfectly. That's just exactly how it happens. Oh, my God. All the scripted people. Gee, many Christmas. I'm sorry that you bet on the wrong football team and you lost money. You probably lost your mortgage payment. I'm sorry. Stop betting. How about we just do that? Just stop betting. Versus making a fool of yourself and saying that it's rigged, stop betting. Golly. It's okay. Just don't bet, and you won't lose all your money. It's okay. Move on. Move on. Everything's a business, my man. Everything's for money. So, everything's a business. And we got idiots again over on TikTok. Paul, we got to get people out of here. They're idiots. So, but anyway, 49ers played well. Didn't do enough to win the football game. Kyle Shanahan didn't do enough to win the football game. Just got away from the game plan a little bit too much and allowed the Chiefs to come back. At some point, we got to put that on him. At some point, you got to put the stuff on him. He didn't choke, but he didn't do enough to win the football game. Choking would be if the 49ers came out with a horrible game plan and they got whipped. That would be choking. Didn't do that. Did not do that. So, it's crazy. But man, was it a good football game? No. Was it a good football game? And now, again, I know there's some of y'all that are looking at me like, hey, B, why do you have a Chiefs shirt on? You are not a Chiefs fan. You're not even close to a Chiefs fan. You're a diehard Steelers fan, and you guys would be correct. I am a Steelers fan. However, my wife is a diehard Chiefs fan. They won. She asked me if I'd wear a Chiefs t-shirt on the show if we won, or if they won. They did. Here I am. So, here I am. Now, here's a good point last night. My man Bud Snodgrass, people still comparing Kittle to Travis Kelce, don't know football. Yeah, I mean, Kittle showed up for one play yesterday. Other than that, Kittle was an absolute non-factor in the football game. Good blocker. Not a good blocker. He's a great blocker for a tight end. But he was a non-factor in that football game yesterday. Non-factor. Kelce is way better, especially as a receiver, than Kittle. Not as a blocker, but as a receiver, it's not even close. It's not even close. So that's just my personal. I mean, we saw it. I mean, you can say it's my personal opinion, but we saw it. We saw it. Let's move on. Mike DeRuler, and this kind of gives us into our next segue. Is there any QB all time you'd rather have the ball for a game-winning drive than Mahomes? Yeah, Joe Montana. But that doesn't mean Mahomes isn't great. That doesn't mean Mahomes isn't great. But if you're going to say, Brian, for your life, who would you rather have with your life on the line with a game-winning drive? What quarterback would you have? My answer is Joe Montana. I don't know that I wouldn't take Tom Brady second either. So it would be Joe Montana, Tom Brady, then Mahomes. And since we're in that segue, the next question, where is Patrick Mahomes all time? Where do we rank Patrick Mahomes all time? Is he first, second, third? Where do you have Patrick Mahomes on your list? I have him third as of now. I have him third. Got to be third. He's past Peyton Manning. You win 3 Super Bowls in the way that you won it. I'm sorry. I know Peyton Manning his statistics are out of this world. I'm just sorry. Patrick Mahomes, at this point, if he stopped playing today, I would say Patrick Mahomes is better. I would say that. And that doesn't mean Peyton Manning is not any good either. It doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that Patrick Mahomes is better. And there's a lot of people saying, no way. Hey, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? What is it that you want a quarterback to do? You want him to win in the clutch, in the playoffs. How many years? This is what people forget. How many years did Peyton Manning lose? Couldn't even make it to the Super Bowl. Not only did they not make it, he played lousy in the playoffs. How many years in a row did that happen? How many years in a row did that happen? Stop, people. You got to stop. Just look at football and remember, he was horrible in the playoffs. And then he finally broke through. Peyton Manning easily is the best regular season quarterback. Easily. But that's not how we measure this quarterback stuff. Somebody said Eli was better in the playoffs. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Now, Eli didn't get to the playoffs very often, but when he did, he was better. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes has passed Peyton Manning in the hierarchy of quarterbacks. What else are you going to say? I mean, literally, what else are you going to say? What else does he have to do? He's got to win 10 Super Bowls to pass Peyton Manning? Come on, man. Now, he's not past Joe Montana, and he's not past Tom Brady. He's not past either of those guys yet. But he's 28 years old. He's 28 years old. 28 with a lot of football left. Now, their roster clearly is going to change. Travis Kelce's not going to play forever. So you got to find something else. I would suspect the Chiefs probably go and draft another tight end in this draft. So things are going to start changing. And that'll be what we see. That'll be, can Patrick Mahomes take that next step? The next evolution is when your roster changes. Can you still be great? Because if you put Patrick Mahomes up on a pedestal and his roster changes and then Patrick Mahomes drops down to being normal, here's a question. Can you drop Patrick Mahomes back down a peg? Would you do that? Would you say, hey, he's great, but once his roster changed and he wasn't playing with these great players and he's playing with new guys, is he still great? That's something you saw Tom Brady do. So there's a difference. So my man Angry Drunken is saying Mahomes is 1, Montana is 2, Brady is 3. No way, no how. No way, no how. Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback. He hasn't done enough to be considered above those guys. That's just crazy talk. So I love the spirit and I love the prisoner of the moment stuff, but he's not the best. So let's talk about Andy Reid a little bit. Where do we have Andy Reid as a head coach? He doesn't get enough credit. I think Andy Reid's got to go to the top of the heap, doesn't he? He's got to go right up there. Now, is he Belichick yet? I don't think so. And I don't have him ahead of Chuck Noll either. You're not going to tell me, again, call me a homer all you want. The man won 4 Super Bowls and dominated an era. So, Andy Reid's in the top 5? Absolutely. Where do you have him? 4th? 3rd? I mean, he can't be lower than 5. So, he can't be lower than 5. I think he's 3rd. I think Andy Reid right now is the 3rd best coach in NFL history. And I know that people are going to say, well, what about Vince Lombardi? Nah, you didn't allow everybody to play back in those times, so no. I don't give all that the credence that people want to give it. But Andy Reid is crazy. Just crazy good. Yeah, easily top 5, they're saying on TikTok. Oh, yeah. I think he's top 3. I think he's top 3. But Andy Reid, what he did in Philly, and he was really good in Philly, just couldn't get over the hump. And now what he's done with the Chiefs, I mean, let's just be honest. The Chiefs were an average franchise, an average to pretty good franchise before he got there. I take that back. They were average before he got there. Once he got there, they became pretty good. And then once Mahomes, they drafted Mahomes, they just sent it off into a new stratosphere. They sent it off into a new stratosphere. It's incredible what Andy Reid has done. I think you have to have him in your top 3. Jimmy Johnson was good, but Jimmy Johnson was awful with Miami. He was awful. You know, what he did with the Cowboys is incredible. But when he left and he went to Miami, they were awful. So Chuck Noll is underrated. He is, just not to me. And you're right. Chuck Noll is absolutely underrated. Nobody talks about him. He put together the Steelers in the 70s. And not only did he put them together, they dominated the decade. And there were some really good football teams during that time. But Chuck Noll would be 2. Belichick 1, Chuck Noll 2, Andy Reid 3. And Andy Reid keeps going. He can get past Chuck Noll. He can absolutely do that. So, absolutely. Bill Walsh is right there. Bill Walsh is right there. I think Reid is better. That's just my personal opinion. Reid is better. And no, I'm not going to stop. Andy Reid is better. He's taken that same offense and taking it to new heights. But you got to include Bill Walsh in a conversation. A lot of people don't want to say it because he had great players and he had this and he had that. Yeah, you got to include Bill Walsh in that conversation if you're being honest with yourself. Only if you're being honest with yourself. So let's take another look at YouTube here. My man, Angry Drunken German, thank you for coming to the show. We appreciate it. The degree of difficulty was way higher for Montana than Brady or Mahomes. Mahomes will never face a real defense like the 2000 Ravens or Steel Curtain. You can't play that way anymore. Now, that's his argument talking about is Mahomes as good as the other guys because the rules are different. That's a legitimate conversation. That's one of the reasons why I say Montana is better than Brady is because the rules are different. Hell, Montana's career was ended because he was getting killed. Well, you can't do anything remotely like that to a quarterback today. Not to mention, you see quarterbacks, anytime they get hit at all, the first thing they do is turn around and look at the ref. Why aren't you throwing a flag? That's the first thing that they do. The very first thing that they do. It's crazy. Yeah, so it's just different. The rules are just different now. Now, that doesn't make people not great. But it's different. Just different. But yeah, man, I think Reid is definitely in that top 3. You can have the Bill Walsh argument, but I think Andy Reid surpassed him. He surpassed him. My man Wakan says 3rd. Walsh, Knowles, and Belichick were better. I don't think, well, Knoll would be not Knowles. But no, I don't think Walsh was better. But that's just my personal opinion, and it might be a preference too. It might be a preference. Here's my man, Bill Kernan, says Shula, Knoll, Belichick, Reid. Nah, not Shula. Shula gets underrated, and I get it. And he coached a long time, has the most wins, but I don't think Shula is in that conversation. Because you had what a lot of people said was the best quarterback ever at the time in Dan Marino, and you only got to one Super Bowl, much less win one. You only got to one with Dan Marino. You got to take a knock for that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we love Don Shula, but you only got to one Super Bowl with Dan Marino. Yeah, you got to take a knock for that. Got to take a knock for that. So, what else do we got, people? Again, Monday through Friday, we're going to open this up to the open mic segment, and we'll start answering your all's questions. But Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. We appreciate everybody. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe if you haven't already to Big B Sports Talk. We appreciate that. We appreciate it. And if you're not following on TikTok, please do. More importantly, click on that button, that YouTube link in my bio, and come on over to Big B Sports Talk on YouTube. Come subscribe, join the chat. Plenty of y'all have already done it before. There's a lot going on over on YouTube, man. You get access to a ton more. Come on over, join the live. You get podcasts, interviews, breakouts, shorts, a lot of stuff you don't get on TikTok. You'll get it on YouTube. Ton of content, my man. We appreciate you guys. But yeah, great football game last night, man. Chiefs win 25-22 in overtime. A thriller, an absolute thriller. Patrick Mahomes does it again. Give your credit to Brock Purdy. The man played great. Give your credit to Christian McCaffrey when they decided to just lean on him and let him take this thing home. He was able to do it. Kyle Shanahan got away from that a little bit. He's got to take his lumps today. Another 10-point lead that he's blown in the Super Bowl. It's unbelievable. Jay said Purdy played ass. You didn't watch the football game, did you? Clearly, you didn't watch the football game. Jiminy Christmas. Three-peat. I don't know. First of all, I'm not a Chiefs fan, so I'm not going to say anything about a three-peat or anything even remotely close to that. So I'm not a Chiefs fan. But I got to wear this shirt today. My wife is a diehard Chiefs fan, and she asked me to wear it on the show. So that's why we got it. So mistakes cost the 49ers. Yeah. Can't have a punt hit the back of your foot. You can't have a punt hit the back of your foot. So you can't do that. It's crazy. We got the rigged people, the people that lost money on their bets last night. We got those back in. It's rigged. Just stop betting, people, and you don't have to worry about if it's rigged. Don't bet your mortgage on a football game if you can't live with the results. Just stop. Pay your mortgage. Don't bet it. Just don't. It's more important to live in your house than it is to bet on a football game. But because you lost, now it's rigged. Ah, gosh. Oh, well. Yeah, the 49ers had their opportunities to win, too. They had their opportunities, and they blew it. Kyle Shanahan up 10 points again and blew it. Here's a good comment. There seemed to be several shoulder injuries, and Achilles injury was brutal for the 49ers. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, scripted. Somebody says it's not rigged, it's scripted. So Greenlaw, he signed up to have his Achilles blow out as he's running on the field. They wrote that into the script. Got it. I got it. You lost all your money betting. You got to stop. They wrote that in, and they said, you got to deal with it. I don't know how we're going to pop your Achilles, but we're going to make it pop. Got it. Got it. It's crazy. Conspiracy theories. I love it. The earth is flat. NFL is rigged and scripted. I know it's scripted because I blew all my money on it. I bet on the wrong script. Jeez, it's got to be scripted. So, yeah, that's what everybody says. When they lose all their money, they've got to look for a reason that they lost versus, hey, maybe you just shouldn't have bet. Oh well. No more energy to the idiots. Man, I saw the left leg pop. My heart dropped. Yeah, mine too, man. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen anybody run on the field, just running out onto the field and see their Achilles pop. Like, I've never seen that before. Never seen it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just nuts. It was sad. So, dynasty. The commentators were talking about that last night. Is this a Chiefs dynasty? I think absolutely. 3 Super Bowls in 6 years? Yeah, it's got to be a dynasty, doesn't it? Back to back? Yeah. Yeah, that's what dynasty is. So, the artificial grass. Well, Elias, they played on grass. So it wasn't artificial. The field was grass. So, but yeah, is this a Chiefs dynasty? 100%. 100%. You know, you win three Super Bowls in 6 years and you win back to back. If that's not a dynasty, I don't know what is. I literally don't know what is. So yeah, I think it has to be. It has to be. Has to be. So 49ers absolutely did not have luck on their side, says my man on YouTube. Yeah, I don't think so either. But they gave away opportunities. Don't fumble the football. You know, get out of the way of a punt. Don't let it hit the back of your foot. Then the guy didn't try to jump on it. It's craziness. But they had their opportunities and still somehow did not live up to the potential that I think the 49ers have. I mean, I'm not going to say the 49ers choked, but I'm going to say the 49ers had a better football team than the Chiefs. The 49ers definitely have a better football team than the Chiefs. What's up, Texas Rattlesnake? But the big difference, Patrick Mahomes, man. Patrick Mahomes. He's the difference. I told you guys on Friday. First of all, I was close to the final score. I said 27-24. It was 25-22. So I was close. But I said the difference was going to be Patrick Mahomes. I said he's going to hear everybody saying that he's not the best player in the league, that he's fallen off. He wasn't even in the MVP conversation, which I think was warranted this year. He shouldn't have been. And people were going to be saying this and saying that. And he was going to come out and prove the naysayers wrong. I think he did it again. He dominated the football game when he needed to dominate the football game. All the things that I have been critical of Josh Allen, Brock Purdy. Well, Brock Purdy did his thing, but Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, that when the game is on the line, go make a play to win the game. Those guys weren't able to do it. Patrick Mahomes is. That's what separates them. So, no talk. Zero talk. And I'm proud of everybody in here because there's been no talk of anybody else saying that, oh, well, Josh Allen is good as Mahomes and Lamar Jackson is good or Joe Burrow. No talk of that. And I know there's going to be some idiots on TikTok that are going to start saying that now that I've brought that up. There is. Just like somebody, literally, before I could even get it out, somebody says Hurts is better. We'll just get rid of him. We don't need to deal with idiotic people. We just don't. We're not dealing with idiots, people. We're trying to have good conversation. So, yeah. Bryce Young is better. We'll get rid of him, too. Yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So, yeah, it's crazy what goes on, man. Patrick Mahomes is just better. He's just better. So, and nobody is talking about Mahomes having a better arm, Brandon. There's a lot of guys that have. Jeff George has maybe the strongest arm in the history of the National Football League. Jeff George. For people that don't know, for the youngsters, go look up Jeff George and his arm strength. Maybe the best arm to ever play in the National Football League. He also happened to be one of the worst quarterbacks. So, arm strength doesn't mean anything. If you're talking about, oh, well, he's got the best arm. Well, nobody had a better arm than Jeff George. Threw a tight spiral, could throw the ball 70 yards on a rope. Now, how far could he throw a football? I don't know. But on a line about 10 feet off the air or off the ground, he could throw it 70 yards. Crazy. But I get what you're saying, Brandon. I get what you're saying. Jamarcus Russell had a good arm, and he was trash. There you go. Jamarcus Russell was absolute trash. Great arm. I just think the difference is Patrick Mahomes is just better than everybody. So, Patrick Mahomes is just better than everybody. So, that's all. That's the difference. And if you're over on TikTok and you're saying stupid stuff, you're going to get banned. We don't do that. So, if you're feeling some kind of way about getting banned, that's why. That's why. We're not doing stupid stuff. So, but come on over to YouTube. Maybe be better over there. YouTube is better anyway. Click on the YouTube link in the bio. So give me a follow if you're not following already. We would appreciate it. Not to mention, we're here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., Big B Daily Show. We've grown a lot. Man, what are we going to talk about now that football's over? That's the next conversation. What are we going to do, people? Football is over. Oh, man. The glaze is concerning. Yeah, there we go. There it is right there. I told y'all I'm leaning into all this 25 and under talk. I am leaning into it. Again, I'm 48. I'm out of my element. So y'all have helped me stay young. I'm leaning into it. So the glazing, and that's how I have to say it, by the way. I know people are like, why is he talking like that? Why does he got to say it like that? Because if I don't say it like that, I'm 48 years old, man. I can't talk like a 25-year-old unless I put my own spin on it. So my spin is, why are all you people out there glazing on Patrick Mahomes? Why is all the meat riding going on with Patrick Mahomes? Jiminy Christmas. Get your Riz game up. I found out what Riz meant the other day. I was hanging out with a guy. His son was telling me, he's like, yeah, I got to get my Riz game up. I was like, what is Riz? I don't understand that. What does that mean? So I'm learning. I appreciate y'all helping me. I appreciate it. So here we got a question by my man David Gonzalez. Scenario, you're starting an expansion team. How much would you offer Andy Reid? Is there anyone else you'd rather have start a team from scratch than Andy Reid? Ooh, that's a good question, David Gonzalez. The problem is, how long are you expecting Andy Reid to coach? I think the one of the issues with Bill Belichick and why he doesn't have a job is because he's 72. Andy Reid is in his 60s, mid-60s. How long are you expecting him to coach? Because starting an expansion team, you're not just coming. It's going to take a minute. So it's going to take a minute. That's a good question. April H, when I brought up, what are we going to talk about? What's the next topic? She says, March Madness, here we come. March Madness, here we come. Yeah, I think I'm going to lean into college basketball. I told y'all to start paying attention. We got to talk about something, damn it. College basketball is here. So, yes, young Rafe, I was, man. I was puzzled with the Riz. I didn't even know what Riz meant. I had no clue. And then his dad chimed in and said, Brian, it means game. I'm like, then why don't they just call it game? He goes, because they're 25 and under. You got to call it something else. The Riz game. I'm like, and apparently it's not called the Riz game. It's just Riz. Oh, my gosh. I'm out of touch, people. I'm out of touch. So, yeah. March Madness is going to be next, people. Start looking at college basketball. We got to talk about something. We got a minute before the draft. The draft coming up in April is February. We got some time. Don't worry. NFL's always going to be somewhere. What are the next steps? Who needs what? We'll even break it down by divisions. Who needs what? You know, can the Chiefs repeat? I think that's got to be a topic of conversation. Can the Chiefs repeat? I think they can. I'm not necessarily rooting for it, but I think they can. So, man says, bring on the badminton content. Yeah, badminton. If I bring on badminton content, I'll have one follower. I can't have that. I can't have that. But I love it. I did, David. But see, my man David Gonzalez on YouTube, see, you got teenage kids, so you know all this talk, David. I don't have any. I don't know the talk. I don't. You know, my man Chris, his son, was around, and he would keep me, hey, cool Brian. I was like his uncle. And he would keep me up to date, but he went to college. And now he doesn't keep me up to date anymore. I don't know about these words. But it's crazy. All I know is this. For all you people out there that think that NFL is rigged, stop glazing because you lost a bunch of money. Stop meat riding because you lost a bunch of money. I don't think I'm using that in the right context, am I? TikTok will tell me. I don't think I'm using that in the right context, am I? I don't think I am. Either way, stop capping. There we go. Stop capping because you lost money. Stop all that capping, talking about it's rigged because you lost money. That's not my fault. That's not anybody else's fault. Stop all that capping. Yeah. See? I got it now. I got it. It just took me a minute. Y'all know me. I can adapt. I'm cool. Stop all the capping. And every time somebody says it, I'm going to stop capping. Stop capping. Yeah, I got it now. Stop capping. Stop glazing. Again, I don't think I'm using glaze in the right. But my whole thing is, man, you can't even give anybody a compliment anymore. If I like a player and I say how good he is, the first thing people, come on, Big B, stop glazing. Oh, my God. Can I not? So, oh, well. Chiefs rigged. Stop capping. Here's a good one. Deshaun Watson, 2025 Super Bowl MVP. You heard it here first. Are we even sure that Deshaun Watson is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? Deshaun Watson forgot how to play football. So are we even sure that he's going to be the starter for the Browns? Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. But we'll find out. I got a lot of Cleveland fans that are mad at me right now because I made fun of them They were giving me nonsense and grief all year. And I said, well, how did your season end compared to the Steelers? The Steelers got beat by a team that's better than they are, and they played average in the playoff game, but that game was a competitive football game. The Browns, on the other hand, went to the Texans and got the brakes beat off of them and got blown out and humiliated. So, Browns fans, sorry. So, somebody said that Deshaun Watson wasn't bad this year. Do you watch football? How in the world can you say that Deshaun Watson didn't play bad this year? Are we, I mean, and somebody please tell me if I'm capping. But I watched Deshaun Watson play, and he was horrific, except for one half against Baltimore. Other than that, he sucked. He sucked. No, I didn't watch any of him play the Titans. I don't follow the Browns. I don't follow mediocrity. So, no, I didn't watch the Browns play. So, and don't tell me he was playing hurt. If he was playing hurt, then don't play. But if you're out there, produce. Period. Everybody wants to give excuses for guys being hurt. If you're hurt, then don't play if you can't play up to your standards. If you can't, sit out. If you can, then play. The hurt excuse doesn't do any good. Let somebody else that's behind you play. If you're hurt. Yeah, or at least close. Don't tell me, oh, he was hurt. Well, then don't play. I don't want to hear it. But if you're out there, I got to see it. Yeah, Deshaun Watson was bad. So, before you say anything, Deshaun Watson was bad. Bad. And to say that Deshaun Watson wasn't bad is absolute joke. I know that makes you a Browns fan, and I get it. But the Browns had a good year. It ended horribly, and it ended the way that no Browns fans thought that it was going to end. I understand that you're butthurt about that. I get it. But I'm sorry. Facts are facts, and facts are never our friend. They're never our friend. Facts are only facts. Deshaun Watson played bad. And I can tell you right now, if the Cleveland Browns didn't have Deshaun Watson's contract to deal with, and you're telling me that he made the same amount of money as Joe Flacco, who would the Browns choose to have as their quarterback? So they would choose Flacco in a heartbeat. I mean, and to say that they wouldn't, you're lying. Just stop. Flacco outplayed Watson. Watson played horrible. End of story, period. I'm sorry, Cleveland Browns fans. I'm sorry. I get it. It didn't end the way you thought it was going to end. You thought this was your year. You thought, I heard it from Browns fans from June on about how the Steelers were going to stink and the Browns were so much better than the Steelers. Yeah, well, they did this thing called play football games, and it turned out, they weren't. They weren't better. And when they got into the playoffs, the Browns got humiliated like the Browns do. So, oh well. It is what it is, people. Outstanding Super Bowl. We're going to shut this one down. Outstanding Super Bowl. Chiefs win it 25-22. They played great in the second half. Mahomes showed why he is head, shoulders, body, everything that you want to say better than every other quarterback in the league. Josh Allen, Burrow, whoever, Lamar Jackson can't touch Mahomes, never could touch Mahomes. He's better. He proved it again because, again, when the chips were on the line, he made the plays to win the game. Period. End of story. Period. And somebody on TikTok says cap. Period. End of story. Mahomes is just better. He's just better. Kyle Shanahan, again, cannot figure it out in the big game. I'm not going to say he choked. I'm not going to do that today. I may say it tomorrow. Let me get another 24 hours under my belt. I may say Kyle Shanahan choked tomorrow, but today I'm not going to say it. So we appreciate everybody being here, man. Again, thank you, TikTok. Thank you, everybody that's live here on YouTube. We appreciate it. Come back tomorrow, again, 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, Big B Daily Show, man. We appreciate you guys, and we will do it better tomorrow. Aloha.